Gee, Capcom, what do you want to do tonight? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to screw over Nintendo fans. They're Capcom and they're cheap. Yes, Capcom and they're cheap. If you try to defend them, you'll probably sheep. Monster Hunter has now been their only salvation. They're Capcom and they're cheap, 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 cheap. They've been caught once again, trying to hoard their yen. By the dawning of Gen 10, we'll say not again. They're Capcom and they're cheap. Yes, Capcom and they're cheap. Their stingy campaign is easy to explain. There is no retail, so they won't get my sale. They're stingy, it's cringy, cause they're cheap, 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 cheap. Narf, doodly doo doo. Oh. Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Xeracon and I am back once again. I apologize for that cringe-worthy intro. But if you were around last year, you know that, well, that's when I actually made it originally. And I thought that this would be a new year, because last year it was filled with rants. I mean, seriously, I was raging against I was raging against a lot of companies last year. I thought, you know what, this will be a new year, this will be a nice year, this will be a calmer year, but apparently Capcom still likes to screw up and screw us over. So what do I mean by that? So Capcom announced, I think earlier this year, if not then, probably even last December, that they were going to port over Resident Evil 4 and also Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 for the Nintendo Switch. And everyone was happy. Everyone wanted that. However, there was one caveat recently. So they announced this week that Resident Evil 0 and 1 would be $60. And that was enough to raise the red flag for a lot of people. But then even worse is the fact that Resident Evil 0 will be physical on cart, and Resident Evil 1 will be digital code only. And Resident Evil 4, as far as we can tell, is also digital only. And that is just so infuriating because you're charging us money. And, no, and it goes even a step further because if you buy Resident Evil 0, if you pre-purchase 0, 1, or 4 on the eShop, it's $30 for each one. Compare that to the $20 for separately. And then also 0 plus 1 on the other consoles was only $40. And you can, and oh my gosh, and it's even worse because of the fact that, in the UK, as is usual for Capcom, because they're really cheap over there, they don't even get a physical release. So you're charging us money for these games, and you're not even giving us the option of having a physical copy. You can't even say it's a Switch tax, because digital is not a Switch tax. Digital is digital. There's no cartridge, there's no physical production or manufacturing going into that whatsoever. That is straight up greed right there. And for those blaming it Nintendo, no, this case is not Nintendo because Nintendo is not the publisher for this game. Capcom is. So Capcom, once again, is being cheap. And we all know how I felt about Capcom because I went and I imported No. I didn't buy Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 because they were not physical. I didn't buy Mega Man Legacy Collection because only one was physical and the other one was digital only. I went and I imported X Collection 2 because that was the only way to get it physical. I imported Monster Hunter Generations X before, they decided to actually be gracious and give us a physical release. I imported that. And, I was even trying to be more optimistic about Capcom because they have done good things for Switch owners. I mean, they went and gave, well, again, because it's not EU. EU I'm not counting because Capcom just hates the EU. I don't know why they hate Europe so much. It's baffling. But they gave Mega Man 11 a physical release and an exclusive. Well, I mean, of course it's exclusive because only Nintendo has Amiibo. But they gave a special bonus for it, you know, and they went and they gave a physical release for Generations Ultimate, which I went and bought because I was going to support that practice. And I was even surprised by the fact that they are giving Dragon's Dogma a physical release. I went and I pre-ordered that because I was so happy that Capcom did something good for once. I wanted to say, "Hey, you did a great job. I'm going to give you my money." But no, here they're just going to be their greedy normal selves, and I don't understand it. I mean, you're the ones, Capcom, who are selling Nintendo, "Hey, add more RAM." And then when you do try to support the console, you're not even going all in on that. I mean, seriously, we got more support from other companies, which was surprised. I didn't expect to see Bandai Namco give great support like they have. They gave us the Namco Museum arcade pack, and they gave it physical. They gave us games like Dark Souls Remastered. They gave us Dragon Ball Xenoverse. They gave us Dragon Ball Fighters. They gave us oh wow, what was that game called? They gave us My Hero Academia. They gave us Tales of Vesperia. They're giving us these games, and they're giving them physically. I was actually skeptical about them, but they have proven themselves to be supportive. Now, yes, we're not going to get every game from them. Like, we're not going to get Jump Force. We're not going to get other types of games. You know, we're not getting Code Vein. But they are supporting us, and I am gracious for that. I'm very happy about that. You know, and there are other games too that I do understand we can't get, and I accept that. I accept the fact that the Switch is not going to get every game. But if I'm going to buy a game from a triple A publisher or developer or whatever, I expect to have that game available in a physical manner because there is no way that I'm doing that. Because we have indie developers who are getting their games published on a physical cartridge. They are going out of their way. Now, yes, Capcom and all these other developers who decide to be cheap, they have their right to do that. That is their right. I cannot deny them of that. If they want to publish it digital only, that's their prerogative. But I also have the right to not give you my money. I have the right to give my money to someone else who is more deserving of it, in my opinion. So, Capcom, if you want me to give you money, you will give me a physical copy. I mean, I am not entirely happy about paying $60 these for these games. But if they were both physical, I could swallow that pill. I I can accept that. But if I have to pay $60 for one physical and one digital, then that's out of the question. I am not supporting that. And again, again, you were doing so good. I mean, it's strange because it's either you either die a hero or see yourself become the villain, and that's what you've become. You've become the villain. Sega. I I didn't grow up on Sega consoles, but I love their games, and the fact that they have been doing a great job with their games, and then also with supporting other uh, consoles. They've got Persona for PlayStation and Shin Megami Tensei for Nintendo. They did a good job, and they are giving physical copies. So Sega, while they died out as far as being as a console developer, they still endured and became a hero, in my opinion. But you, Capcom, you've fallen from grace. You've fallen. The fact that you sell games incomplete, that you charge multiple DLCs, it's ridiculous, and I have to shame you once again. And I didn't want to do another rant. I was done. I did not want to enter 2019 doing rant videos. I mean, I kind of didn't. I mean, I might have done maybe one thing, but I didn't want to do any rant videos. I wanted 2019 to be like 2017 when it was a nice, fresh, happy, and eventful year. And I mean, I do plan on this year being eventful. That's going to be a spoiler for later, but I want to this year to be a grand year, like 2017 was. But you are just trying to screw this up. But yeah, so let me know about how you feel about this in the comment below. And yeah, so until next time, everyone, I am Xeracon signing off. Have a good one. And you know what, Capcom? Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below. Also, follow me on Twitter to stay up to date on news and details. I'll see you next time.